Hi, my name is Rachel Hunter. I am 17 years old, so I'm in grade 11, and I attend Solid Rock Youth. I'm going to be doing 2nd John in this video, and I'm going into this assuming you've already read the book. 2nd John is a letter written by John, obviously, although it's unclear who exactly it's written to. It says, the elder to the lady chosen by God, and to her children. So it's fairly unclear whether it's a specific woman or whether it's a church body, but it does lean more towards being a church based on wording of original text and all that. So this book was written shortly after 1st John to warn about false teachers, and it may have been written from Ephesus. So here are some points that stand out most to me. So verses 5 to 6 talk about how we're to love one another and walk in love and obey God's word. So the importance of these verses are that as a church family, we're called to love one another. And this isn't only meant just for church members, but everyone we come into contact in our daily basis and in our daily lives. So I actually have the Life Application Bible, and one of the footnotes gives examples. So avoiding prejudice and discrimination, accepting people, listening, helping, giving, serving, and refusing to judge. It also says that simply knowing God's command isn't enough and we have to act upon it. Verses 7 to 11 talk about false teachers. So he refers to these false teachers as deceivers and even compares them to the Antichrist, which is pretty strong words against these false teachers. John warns us that these false teachers don't acknowledge Jesus Christ, and they promote an understanding of God that is not true. It's not biblical. They also tend to include parts of the truth just to make their lies more believable, because that will make you believe what they're saying. So in the footnotes of my Bible, it says that the false teachers seem to be so sincere and believable, and it's really hard to tell whether they're actually telling the truth, and they're very difficult to pick them out in a crowd. This doesn't mean that we should be suspicious of everyone we meet, but we're supposed to trust and evaluate the characters of the people we speak of before we believe what they're saying. It's important to note that John warns us not to show hospitality to these false teachers and not to promote or support their falsehoods. John is also condemning the support of these false teachers. This isn't condemning the support and hospitality towards unbelievers. That's very different. John also points out that supporting a false teacher in any way is also promoting these false teachings. So helping them out is supporting what they're saying. So just to kind of avoid that. So verse 12 talks about why the letter is so short. And I just really love this. So he's talking about that the letter is so short because he wants to meet the people face to face and talk with them in person. This reminds me of how important fellowship and meeting with people who share our faith is. He uses the words so that our joy may be complete, which I love. It's very difficult to meet during this pandemic, but I believe that meeting with one another is an important part of our faith. I'm grateful that even though we're not able to meet in person, we have the technology to connect us. Overall, it's important to talk about false teachings because they're so prominent in our world today. It's so easy to be pulled into a falsehood without knowing it. And John wrote this letter to warn the people about these falsehoods and the dangers they bring to our faith. So I'm going to pray, and then the video will end. Dear Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful day, the warmer weather and the sun. Lord, this makes me feel like it's spring, finally. It's a long time coming. Lord, I pray for the coronavirus and the people who have been affected by the coronavirus. Lord, it's very difficult, especially for those who have family members who they cannot visit who have the coronavirus and may die. Lord, I pray for the essential workers and the dangers that they face on a day-to-day basis, Lord, as they need to work for the world to continue, for society to continue. and for the safety of others, Lord. I pray for them. Lord, I give us the knowledge to discern false teachers, prevent us from giving in to them. Lord, as we finish up our reading in the book of John, help us to learn from reading your word. Lord, it's very important that we read your word and listen to it and listen to you, Lord, and is a big part of our faith. Thank you for the technology we use to stay in touch with our friends and family during this pandemic, and for the opportunity to speak with our church family through these devotions and Sunday morning live streams, Lord. Thank you so much for all of your blessings. In your name I pray. Amen.